Deborah, are you recording?
Yes, thank you, June. Good evening. My name is Deborah Lawson, and I am delighted to have each one of you here tonight. You are in for a treat. There is no way to put into words what a treat this is. She is absolutely one of my favorite folks. I can't say my favorite because, Jennifer, there's a whole bunch of other people on here. They're my favorite. But I will tell you this. We always talk about having that dream teamer that we want on our team, right? I mean, we tell you to look for that person, right? And well, on my list that I had not contacted was this guy named James Pilgrim. I didn't even know James. I just knew his son, and I absolutely loved Josh. And Josh had come to our church. He had spent the night with me. Did you know that, Jennifer? He spent the night a couple of times with us, and he and I would talk way into the night. And he just shared a little bit about his dad, and I'm like, I want that guy on my team. So lo and behold, God is in the business of answering prayers. And James Pilgrim contacted me, and he is on our team. And along with him came his beautiful wife, Lori, Josh, and Jennifer. So Jennifer is our beautiful redhead, and I'm not going to tell you anything else about her because I'm going to let her spill the beans and tell you everything. But I will say this: my heart was broken at one time because I felt like you had given up Plexus, and I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to reach out to you on it because I could see all that was going on in your household, and I knew that I didn't know how you could do any more. So we are so glad that you're here tonight. So Jennifer, if you would share, and I am going to mute myself.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Deborah, for having me on. Can y'all hear me okay, or am I giving feedback? It sounds like somebody might be unmuted. I can't tell. I've been nervous and emotional all day to talk to you, not because I'm scared to talk to people. Obviously, I'm a pilgrim, so I can talk to anybody anytime. But this story is probably not one like you've heard before. We all get inspired by those stories of people who join Plexus and they just shoot straight to the top, and we all want to be on the call and hear, what did they do right? What did they get right? So that we can try and duplicate that, right? That is not my story. My story is like this over a period of 8 years. It is a crazy roller coaster of a ride. And if you've ever been on a roller coaster, it doesn't matter how fun it starts off in the beginning. At some point, you just want to get off. And that's kind of where I was a couple months ago. And so I'm just going to kind of give a brief history of how I joined Plexus. As Deborah said, my brother Josh is a pastor. Yes. He came home and shared some sample packs with my dad, and my dad shared that with me. At the time, I was in a really dark place with my health, and I was kind of desperate. I was 25 years old. My husband was in the military. I was really unhealthy, and we were broke. So I joined Plexus just for the products. Long story short, I had this great health testimonial. I ended up losing weight, coming off about 10 prescription medications. It helped me with so many things, and I was really excited. So I started sharing, and I guess it was about like 9 or 10 months, I hit Ruby. Y'all, and I'm 25. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know anything about network marketing. I don't know anything about Plexus. And if you were in 8 years ago, we didn't have brochures. We didn't have videos. We didn't have anything. So I was just sharing from my heart, kind of crazy and doing the best I could. Well, y'all, listen. So that was 2013 that I hit Ruby, and I stayed a Ruby ambassador for 5 years. It was kind of this up and down, because also during that time I was having babies, and I had 4 babies in the period of 4 years. So my son was born in 2014. My first daughter was born in 2015. My next one was born in 2017, and then I had my fourth in 2019. And so when you're having babies, you're a little bit busy. And so every now and then I'd take my foot off the gas and I'd drop down in points, and then I'd come back up for air, and my business would start growing, and then it'd go back down again. And I think most of y'all who have been in this for any amount of time can relate, right? There's seasons and there's periods of time where sometimes you just take your foot off the gas. Well, things kind of took a turn in 2018. I had just had my third child, and I ended up losing a lot of weight. A lot of people were asking me what I was doing. I was really loving my Plexus products, and my team began to explode. Okay, so we were in crazy momentum. I grew this huge, amazing, wonderful tribe, and I just loved all of them so much, and we were having so much fun together. I ended up finding out I was pregnant with my fourth child during this time. And y'all, we pushed so hard in June of 2018, and I hit Senior Ruby. I could not believe it, because for 5 years, y'all, I had been a Ruby ambassador, and I thought, I'm never going to move up from this point, right? I thought nobody's ever going to believe in me or trust me as a leader if I can't prove, right, that I can work my way up back from the bottom again and try and get to the top. And so I ranked Senior Ruby, and it felt like the pinnacle of my career to that point. I was so excited. I had several people on my team win Leaders Retreat that year. So we all went on the cruise together. It just felt like everything was finally coming together. And I thought, this is it. We're going into 2019. 2019 is going to be my year. I'm going to hit Emerald this year, and then Sapphire and Diamond. This is it. I'm going straight to the top. And that is not what happened. 2019 was not my year. Just to make a really long story short, and y'all have to bear with me because I can't talk about it without crying. I went into labor at 29 weeks and almost bled to death in the middle of a restaurant in front of my 3 children and my husband. And I ended up spending a month in the hospital on bed rest, away from my kids. And my parents had to take in my kids so that my husband could be with me. My daughter ended up coming between 32 and 33 weeks. And she was 3 pounds and beautiful, but she spent 6 weeks in the NICU on a ventilator on life support, and had a really rough start. So needless to say, I majorly took my foot off the pedal on my Plexus business. And I think the hardest part about that is that I let my tribe down. And I really let a lot of people down during that time, and I don't think anybody would blame me for wanting to focus on my family during that time, but it was just a really difficult year. Charlotte ends up, both of her lungs collapse. She still has residual lung effects and has some cysts in her lungs, so we have to go every couple of months to see a specialist to get her lungs looked at. So it was just a really difficult year. I did not hit Emerald. I did not maintain Senior Ruby. I didn't maintain Ruby. I literally stopped working Plexus and did nothing but spend time at the hospital with my family. And I didn't post about Plexus. I was still taking my products, y'all. I loved my products, but my business just did not seem important at that time. So I dropped down. I didn't work my business for a full year. So she was born in March of 2019, and until March of 2020, just a couple months ago, I stopped working my business, and I dropped down to a gold ambassador. And in March, my paycheck, I'm just going to be honest, was the lowest it had been in 7-8 years since I've been doing this. And I told my husband, I said, I think this is it. I quit Plexus. I'm not going to, stop ordering the products because I need them so much. I really love them, but I've only got a few people left in my tribe that even, are working this business. And I'm so humiliated, embarrassed. I don't even know how I could ever come back from this and have any kind of credibility. I don't know why anyone would trust me to lead them again. And my husband, who's a wonderful person and he's very wise and thankfully does not say much, he just said, whatever you need to do to be happy, I support you no matter what you want to do. And I'm glad that he didn't say, yes, you need to quit Plexus, or yes, you know what I mean. He just said, whatever you need to do to be happy. The next month, so this was April, my dad, who was the original person who got me to join this business and talked me into it when I didn't want to do it, he calls me and he said, hey, you want to make some extra money this month? And I said, well, sure. What do I have to do? And he said, well, Plexus, I know you probably don't care about that anymore. I know you're not doing Plexus anymore, but they've got these incentives, and I'd like to show you the numbers. And he showed me the numbers about some of the new incentives and different promotions that they were doing. And I caught a vision, y'all, for what Plexus was doing. And I could see that they were changing things, and they had made some updates to the compensation plan. They had some new products I was really excited about. And I thought, why not? I'll see if I can get a couple people this month. We'll see what happens. And that month I got 6 new people, and it was the first time I'd sponsored anyone. And oh gosh, over a year, almost a year and a half at that point. So after telling my husband I had quit Plexus, one day he walks in and I'm on the phone with somebody sponsoring them in Plexus. And he said, okay, I guess we're doing this again. And kind of to sum up a really long story, our team is in massive momentum. In April, I was a gold ambassador by points, and I just re-ranked, not just Senior Ruby, but have surpassed that. And I am on my way getting really close to Emerald Ambassador 4 months later. So I hope that somebody can hear this. And it doesn't matter where you're starting out. You may be brand new, you may be silver, maybe you've been in this company 8 years like I have. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you're somewhere in between. But it doesn't matter where you are, you always can start again, you can begin again. And what I love about this company so much is that right now, they have given us all the tools we need to be successful. I've never seen anything like this. Last month was the best month in my entire Plexus career. I had the most Plexus points. We sponsored the most number of people. What made me the happiest was that my tribe is ranking up. We had 12 rank ups. We had some go fast start gold, fast start silver, fast start senior silver. I love the new fast start program that they've rolled out. It is helping people kick it into high gear from the very beginning. And it's just a really, really exciting time to be in this company. So I don't know what's ahead of me this year. I started praying a couple months ago, like, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, will you just make a path for me? I don't know how to jump back into this. I don't know who is supposed to do this with me. Will you bring the right people to do this with me? And will you put people in my path that'll be blessed by these products, that'll be blessed by this business? And he's been so faithful to do that, y'all. And he'll be faithful to do the same for you if you pray that over your business every day. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, Deborah.
Well, it is an awesome story, and it's an inspiring story. And I agree with all the chat that is there. No, you didn't let anyone down. You did exactly what you were supposed to. And thankfully, we serve a God that he doesn't say, uh-oh, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Right.
He was there all along, and that's why we get to lean into his promises. And this is not a church service tonight, but I will give you a couple of verses that I'd love for you to go and look at, especially during this yucky time, crazy time. Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Verse 6 is all about what God is asking you to do. And verse 7 is, he is saying, and if you do verse 6, I will do verse 7. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge promise. But whenever you do go look at it, I want you to look at verse 5. In the very last few words, it says, God is with you. So he's with us to begin with. And then he says, do this. and then I'm going to do this. And it's amazing. So I'm not going to give you got to go read it. But we have some questions, I am sure. So I do. And if anyone else has questions, I'll put it in the chat, and I'm going to try to
Deborah, I'll just add on that note, because I told you
yes.
this on the phone the other day, and we had a really great chat, and I appreciated your encouragement. But what was really neat during that time, I told y'all I joined Plexus when I was 25 years old, and I'm just going to be honest, I was not cut out to be a leader of any kind of tribe at 25. And I don't know that I am at 33 either, but I will say this: during that season, God taught me so much and was doing so much refining in me, and taught me a lot about generosity and trusting him, and relying on him and having faith and relinquishing control. I don't know if you know me, but I'm a little bit of a control freak. So that was a big one for me. And so I think there had to be some of that during that time, that refining period, to bring me here. And I hope and pray that we are closer to the end of the refining and that there's not something else around the corner I'm not anticipating. But I hope that I'm in a better position now to lead people, now that I've been through some things myself.
Well, what I noticed in our talk was that it was all about them and nothing about you. It was, your praise was all about your people, and not your people, but your the team, and how well the team is doing. And you would tell me about this one and that one and how wonderful they were. You were like that proud mama. You're more happy for their success, and then it's like, oh, I got this. But it was the praise was all about the team. So I have a couple of questions, and then we'll see if anyone else does. So here you are. You feel like you're at the bottom. And no way to get back up, pride, and how can I face people? So how did you go back to the team and say, hey, let's do this?
Well, my brother, who is an amazing person, he posted, so I think he knew I was struggling, to come back. And Josh and I had some conversations about, me possibly trying to jump back in and some things. And there's no real way to explain yourself. I mean, my tribe knew what I was going through and everything that we were dealing with. But an apology doesn't seem right or appropriate. But then at the same time, I felt like I needed to explain, kind of what was going on. My brother made a post on my tribe page, and he said some of the kindest words about me that just opened a door. Wow. And so he shared, this is my sister. She was your tribe leader. She loves you guys. This is what she's been through in the last year. She took that time for her family, but now she's back. Will you welcome her with open arms? And they did. Wow. And I appreciate that. And so that kind of, like I said, opened a door for me to step through and say, okay, let's do this again, and just kind of jump right back in. And so it's always good to have people like that in your corner.
It is. And of course, I know the previous time you had Kelly Yielding, who was just, she's oh my goodness, I'm going to adopt
Heart of gold.
Yeah, I'm adopting her. She is mine. And, but you got other, not just Kelly, but you got other team members that somehow or another, how did you breathe belief into them so that you get a new ambassador and they share? How did you do that?
Honestly, Deborah, I don't know.
Okay.
I started praying specifically over people. Kelly was someone that was in my tribe before that had left and was doing some other things. And she was someone that I prayed like the Lord will bring back, because she's an asset to me and I love her, and she's a sister in Christ. And so just being intentional about those relationships, and then sitting down and saying, look, I know where you're at. I know it feels weird to come back, because that's how I feel too. Not that I ever left Plexus, no. But when you're not intentional about your business, it kind of feels that way. It kind of feels like you're cheating on your business, or, taking a back seat. And that's kind of how it felt. And so going to her and say, look, I've been there and I understand. Look at the new things Plexus is doing. Look, and I have to tell you, she sent me a message today, and she told me how much she was making, and she went fast start senior silver this month. She joined this month, and went fast start senior silver. And she said, do you know how long it took me before to make this much? And so, you know, showing the numbers and showing the different things that Plexus is doing to make us be successful. And they really have laid it out perfectly for us. And just showing those people, this is how you can do it. And then helping them, doing whatever you can to help them. My brother and I came up with a system about sharing that really has worked well for us. And when you get engagement on your post, when I first joined 8 years ago, y'all, I used to write a novel. I mean, I would send a 6-page letter to everyone who asked me about Plexus with the full compensation plan attached for their reading pleasure. I mean, it's just so embarrassing to think about now. And so we've really found a way to simplify that. And so showing my team, this is what I'm doing, and this is what's helping me to be successful, and helping them duplicate that. So when they get, you know, an inquiry, sending a message with the short triplex video, and then following up immediately, hey, can you relate to that? Can you relate to those symptoms? Showing the people how they can see themselves in the products, and then showing those people, well, hey, if you get 3 right now, you can pay for your products for about 3 months. And that just gives people a boost of confidence, like, oh, I think I can get 3. And then once they get 3, they can go from there. And then just showing that immediate follow-up, and then how to close the deal. I think we're afraid sometimes, Deborah, to ask for it. And even though people are reaching out and asking us, like, it's okay to close and go for the sale, and saying, well, that sounds great. I'm so glad you can relate to that. Do you want to set up an order tonight? Can I walk you through it? And then just doing that and make it about them, and, you know, help them order. And if they're not ready to share right away, that's okay too. We add them to the tribe page and we love on them, and we take it from there. But we've had a really great success rate so far doing that. And so hopefully that will continue.
You definitely have. Well, Angie had a question. She said,
Yeah.
when your dad said, let me show you the numbers, what were the takeaways from that conversation that you put into action?
Well, so I hate to say this about myself. Everyone has an inner motivation, right, Angie? And so mine right now is money. We've got 4 kids, okay? I'm a stay-at-home homeschool mom. And so every penny counts around here. And so
Hey,
I think—
stop for just a minute, because
Yeah.
I want to stop there, because for whatever reason, when we're in a multi-level marketing company, we're ashamed that we want to make money, but yet and still we will take a job at the school to be a secretary or the teacher, but we're not ashamed of taking the pay. So that's a mindset that is not from God. So release it. Everyone who has it, release it. So you got in it for the money. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think my dad and I are a lot alike. And so I think he knew what it would take to kind of trigger that, you know, curiosity in me. And, you know, and then he kind of took it away. He's like, oh, I know you're not really doing Plexus anymore. You're probably not interested. And so of course I had to know. So they were doing a promotion that month, and it was something like, if you get, what, I don't know, 3 or 6 or something, 6, you get $600 or something. I can't even remember. It's been a couple months ago, but basically what they're doing now, you get an extra $100 for every 3 you get, or something like that. And it was something so achievable to me that I thought, I can do that. I can get 3. Well, okay, I've got 3. Why not get 6? And, you know, it kind of went from there. Well, then once you start getting that wheel turning again, look, if you're in a rut, if you are stuck, if you're sitting there thinking, I am just stuck, go sponsor someone new, start a new leg. Nothing feels more exciting than helping a new person get started on their Plexus journey. So with each new person, I could feel myself getting that wheel turning, feeling that excitement again. They're excited. I'm feeding off their excitement. We're getting all these new people. Oh, now let's help get them to silver. And that just inspires me so much when my people rank up. And so helping these people, you know, and then you just keep on going. And then at that point, you're 100% all in again. You know, you're posting on Facebook again. When I hadn't posted in probably a year, probably people left and thought I wasn't even doing Plexus anymore. And I've had people come back and say, oh, I'm so glad to see that, you know, you're still in Plexus. So So it was kind of just a numbers thing, Angie, where he showed me the numbers, broke it down for me. It was simple. I have an MBA, and so I'm business minded, financially motivated. And so that was kind of my motivation just to jump back in.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, whenever you sponsor someone, do you tell them immediately that the membership covers not only can you get wholesale products, but also you can make money? Do you do it that all in at one time?
You know, Deborah, I have been lately. I've been trying, like I said, I've been trying to simplify the message because what we were doing, before seemed overcomplicated. So I enroll every single person in the membership. And unless they've specifically asked me about Joyome or collagen or something else, everyone gets the triplex combo with Microbiome Slim. I just keep it simple. Everyone gets that same welcome pack. And we've had people feeling better, having success with that. Unless there's some medical reason or something that I think they need something different. And I think it's really important to ask people what they want. And then after I've, enrolled them in the wholesale membership, I immediately tell them, by the way, Plexus has a really generous referral program. And that's what I call it. I say they have a really generous referral program. I never say you're signing up to sell. You'll never hear me say the word sell. I think it's an offensive term to people and it turns people off. Nobody wants to sign up to be a salesman. I said I didn't want to sell it. But, using terms like share and referral and wholesale membership, I think is a very non-offensive way of presenting the business to people. And so I present it that way. I said, Plexus has a really generous referral program and you get your own referral link that comes with your wholesale membership. So if you just send a couple people to your link to order and enroll just like you did, you're going to get paid for it. Well, that feels very non-threatening when you put it that way, don't you think? People don't mind referring someone. And so go refer a couple friends. Hey, let's refer 3 friends today and get your stuff paid for 3 months. Well, then when they see that money coming in, then they want to keep referring people. And it's a lot easier to tell them a little bit more about the compensation plan at that point.
That's awesome. Got another question. Got 2 more for sure. Leigh Ann asked, how do you stay on top of follow-up with your new ambassadors when they start their products?
That's the one thing I think I struggle with the most, to be transparent. I am not an organized person. I don't know how I'm going to homeschool in a couple weeks because honestly, that's just, organization is not my thing. But what I do is I have a notebook. I'm pretty old school. I'm a millennial. All this technology sometimes is a little bit too much for me. And so I have a notebook where when someone joins, I write down their name. I've got a list right now of all my people, and I try and follow up with them, after I make sure they got their products in, make sure they know how to take their products and everything. I have a kid coming up behind me, so I'm sorry. And so after I followed up with them, I make a little check mark by their name. And so I just check right next to their name, like, yes, I followed up with this person. And I try and follow up, every week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, or once a month. It just depends kind of on the individual situation. And so I literally make check marks next to their name. And depending on how engaged they are in the tribe page, like for example, so I've got my team page. And so if there's someone who's engaged in a lot of the posts and they're paying attention and they're commenting, I'm going to be in contact with them a little bit more often because there's someone that's showing me, hey, I'm interested in this. I'm interested in the business. I'm asking the right questions. If it's someone who, I say, hey, how's it going? Great. Well, then, I'm probably not going to spend as much time. I want to make sure they're liking their products. But as far as the business goes, I try and focus my business attention on the people that are engaged, asking questions and doing the right activities and showing me that they want to learn more.
That's very good. Thank you. Angie asked, what advice would you give to people on coming back out if they feel like you did? How would you come back out? How would you come back out to your audience? So they left.
My advice is just do it. There's probably no graceful way to do it. Just do it. I'm the kind of person, maybe you've gathered by now, I'm super transparent. I'm super honest. I have no secrets. There are probably people that think, oh, I can't believe she's telling people that she dropped down in rank to gold ambassador, a few months ago. I know that's probably not the popular thing to say. It's not fun to say that. It's not fun to admit that. But I think people are going to be more attracted to you if you're honest about your journey and honest about what brought you back. And I think using some specific reasons why did you come back? What attracted you to come back? Was it a new product that you're really interested in? Did you see some testimonial that sparked some curiosity? Was it the new things they've added to the compensation plan, like the Fast Start program, or these new, $100 every time you get 3 incentives? What was it that really sparked your curiosity and made you want to come back? Because those same things that made you want to come back are probably going to spark curiosity in someone else, where they're going to want you to share with them. How many of you have had people that have joined Plexus 2 or 3 times now? I mean, in 8 years, I've literally had people join, we clear them out, join again, a few years later, clear them out, join. So do you know what I'm saying? So it's not unusual that people will come and go, and that's okay, but let them know what's new and what's exciting. I always tell my tribe that your post should do one of 2 things. And if it does not do one of these 2 things, you do not post. It must 1, create curiosity, or 2, create excitement. Or maybe it does both. But if your Plexus post is not creating curiosity or creating excitement, then you're basically just a billboard. And how many of you are driving down the road and you see a billboard and you slam on your brakes and you stop and look at it like, wow, that's life-changing? Probably not ever. And you don't want your Facebook to be the same way. You don't want it to be like a commercial where people, what do you do when you're watching TV? We've got DVR for this now. We don't need to watch commercials. You turn it off. So don't be posting a lot of graphics and pictures of products and stuff. People want to see your face. They want to hear your story. Share as much about you as you can, because when people join Plexus, they're not joining Plexus. They're joining you. And you have something that nobody else has. And so find what it is about you that attracts people to you and share that with other people, because that's what people are going to be interested in, is your story.
That is so true. So true. Does anyone else have any other question they would like? Kelly did say she's been homeschooling a mom for 14 years and just retired. She fits it all in and it worked out fine. You're going to do the same.
Thank you, Kelly.
Let's see. Any other questions? Karen said there's probably hundreds of people who really want to come back, and I agree with that one. And I believe that people really do want to make money. Did you hear what Jennifer said? She was even though, in the beginning, she's telling us how much money she's made and then didn't make and now making. She's still embarrassed about it. Why? And so I have to think that the people that are joining our team, they might have a little embarrassment or hesitation to say, I want to make some extra money. Maybe they embarrassed because here they are, they've got a full-time job, and why should they need extra money? So it's a barrier that we need to overcome. I love the simple words that you're using. Referral, I think that is awesome. And I believe that there's other words like that we can use to make it really simple, so it's not so hard on people to share. I have most of the time, whenever I'm asking people, and do you want to join? And they say no. Are they hesitant, or they don't answer back? I can guarantee you that most of the time, 9 out of 10, it is because their pocketbook won't allow it. And so we have to be very graceful about not hurting their feelings, or not stepping on their toes or anything like that, because no way in the world would we want. Because if we're not careful, they're not going to talk with us, and we want to be able to relate with them and talk with them so that we can get down to the bottom of what it is. And if it is money, if their pocketbook doesn't allow it, guess what they need? They need Plexus, right?
Exactly. And I would say we have a unique opportunity right now like we've never had before, Deborah. And I think that's why we're seeing some of the momentum we are. What are the 2 things in the world people are worried about right now?
Oh,
their health and their finances. Well, wow, what do you know? We have 2 things that can help with that. We have health-related products and we have something that can help with their finances. A lot of people unfortunately found out this year that their job was not as stable as maybe they thought it was. And maybe they were having to work from home. Maybe their hours were cut. Maybe they were on unemployment and their unemployment ran out. Whatever it is, we have something that can help them. And so that's why we're uniquely poised right now, I think, like never before. And people have more time on their hands when they've been quarantined. So like never before, we have an opportunity where we can help people.
And we're gonna stop on this one. I've got another question to ask you, but someone mentioned, I did it face to face, knee to knee, and I've never done it online before, or didn't have much success. And I'm like, well, times are changed, because guess where we're buying groceries?
Online.
I couldn't find Rotel the other day. Guess where I found Rotel at? Amazon.com. They delivered it to my house, $1 a can. So we are being trained, no matter what age, we're being trained to buy online. One last question, and this is it. Best closing verbiage. Give us a couple of statements to close again.
Okay. Typically, a conversation would go something like this, and I'm just totally off the cuff, Angie, so I hope that this is helpful. But I would send the 1-minute triplex video and say, hey, thanks for reaching out. Watch this real quick and tell me if you can relate to any of this. And they watch it, and maybe there's something in there it mentions that they can relate to. I wait 2 or 3 minutes, not long at all, and I immediately respond, so did any of that resonate with you? Because you relate to any of that? And normally they pop right back in, oh yes, I have this, this, and this, and this. And I say, well, I pray this can be the answer for you too. Would you like to get started today? Or if they say, yes. And here's the thing. At some point they're going to say, well, how much is it? And I try and keep it simple. Do I go through the different ways to order wholesale customer? No, I don't. I say, right now I got a coupon code that makes it $89 plus tax. And, it's a $10 wholesale membership. That's going to give you wholesale pricing for 1 year. Normally they're like, okay, that sounds great. And I'm like, all right, let's walk you through enrolling. Do you have time now? So far, nobody's been offended by that. They're asking me about Plexus. And so the goal is to get Plexus in their hands as soon as possible.
So you sent out how many of those videos last month?
So I sent out 25 of those videos, and 23 of the 25 said yes and enrolled.
That's awesome. That is
so
awesome.
It works. Keep it simple. If you think you're talking too much, you are. If you feel like you're being salesy, you probably are. Just don't be weird, like Genevieve says, and try and keep it super, super simple. Think about it this way. If someone were going to get you to order something, what would they have to say to you to get you to be like, oh yeah, that sounds good? You would want to use as non-threatening language like we talked about. Keep it super simple. Don't overwhelm them. We've been in this for a minute. We know all the different ways to order. We know what all the products are. A brand new person doesn't. Don't just go send them to the website and here, go sign up. Don't ever tell somebody to do that. Sit down, walk them through it, either through on the phone, on a text, in person if you can, and really just take that time one-on-one, because in the end, that's what they're going to duplicate. Right? So if you just send them off to La La Land to sign up, guess what they're going to do? If they ever enroll someone, they're going to send them off to La La Land, and they're going to do it wrong, and you're going to end up on customer service trying to fix it later. So that's my advice, is take the time to do it right and get it right the first time.
Ah, goodness. We love you. We love you. Thank you so much. Y'all tell her how much that you appreciate her. I'm going to, can I unmute you? Y'all unmute yourself and tell her how much you love her. She's got to go to bed and give her.
This was fantastic, the Sarah talking. Thank you so much for sharing tonight. It's just amazing. I was in a rut this last year, and I did what you did. I just jumped back in, and it's working. So thank you for sharing tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. This is June Lawson.
Hey, June.
And I don't care how old you are, you're never too old to do this. So I enjoyed listening to what you had to say. Thank you.
Appreciate that, June.
Thank you, Jennifer. This is Leigh Ann. I'm
Hey.
not, because I'm doing bedtime right now, but you girl are like thebomb.com. That is
Thank
our
you,
90s
Leigh Ann.
phrase because we are 90s babies.
Yes, love it. Love you so much.
But girl, just all the things. Yes, just all the
Thank you.
things.
Thank you.
Jennifer, it's Kelly.
Hey.
I told you this morning how much I love you, and you had me in tears. So I'm telling you again, with all of these women on here listening, I love you dearly, my friend, and I thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you.
Well, Jennifer, we're going to say goodnight. Give those kids a good night kiss, and we'll talk to you.
I think they made an appearance at some point. I hope they had clothes on. My husband was supposed to be watching him, and I'm sure he fell asleep. So thank y'all.
We had the bottoms on, so we're good.
Okay.
Bye, y'all. Thank you for jumping.
Bye. Thank you so much.